Test mic. Oh, well, let's do this. Test mic, mic test. Okay, I think we're good to go. Apparently, we're not. We're not good to go. Okay, I just want to take that off. MetalWorx Nation said, Evil Undercover. Empty, empty, empty standards. Okay, cool. MetalWorx Nation said, Evil Undercover. Empty Standridge MetalWorx. Written by Zak Stanridge. Narrated by Vanessa Garcia. So that's opening credit. Then, you know what? Chapter 1. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Okay, I'm just going to read them first before I record them. So, because I haven't read this one yet. Do me a favor, Captain Tatsueld closed the thick manila envelope before him. He instead looked up at his guest and spoke. Start at the beginning. You say that Charlie A. Appenet's automotive garage was under surveillance? The undercover cop replied, It was due to potential activity from the Shark King and his assorted minions. Staring at the undercover cop, okay, you know what? We need to. There you go. We need to sort out the characters. So I've got a list of how many character voices are in here. Not like I could do a lot of character voices, but at least we have options. So this light is a bit too bright, but it is okay. And my skin doesn't look nice in this one. Anyway, okay. Who is in here again? This is my okay. Here we go. We got Captain Tatsueld. So right, we are on Excel at the moment. We are breaking down character, and we need to put some notes. So it's Captain Tatsueld. Oh, no, it's Eld. Captain Tatsueld. Tatsueld. Is that a play of words? You say that Charlie a Appenuts. So they just mentioned the guy. So we got the um undercover cop. Undercover cop. Staring at the undercover cop, Captain Tatsueld noted that he wore a giant baseball cap, oversized and extremely dark sunglasses, alongside a rather unkempt beard. By all outward appearances, this man who sat before the captain looked homeless, or at least not someone whom would pose a threat. Tatsueld leaned back in his chair. Explain further. The undercover cop seemed to relax, yet still betrayed no hint as to his identity. It started as a protection racket, basically the oldest gangster tactic there is. Oh, no, sorry. So my note for the undercover cop is with beard, baseball cap. Okay, let's baseball cap, uh, baseball cap, oversized shirt with beard, looks homeless. Homeless. So, the undercover cop seemed to relax, yet still betrayed no hint as to his identity. It started as a protection racket. Basically, the oldest gangster tactic there is give me money every week or something bad will happen to your business. Property destruction, sometimes, arson typically. That's it, all agreed. Fairly standard. It wasn't so bad at first, the detective explained. Charlie A's father didn't want trouble, so he agreed to a monthly payment. Of course, Charlie A protested, but his father assured him that the garage was doing well and that they could afford the extra cash. Tatsueld stared out the window briefly as he remarked. Then they got greedy. Gangsters always do, the incognito cop said. The monthly payment turned into a weekly payment, and then the racketeers wanted payment twice a week. It became too much. Tatsueld turned his attention to the manila envelope. Glancing through the contents a final time, he said, You did a great job with this case. Tell me what was the ignition point on this? What set everything into motion? The Appinuts are good, honest, hardworking people, the undercover cop stated, but even good, honest, and hardworking people get pushed too far. Hmm. Chapter 2, The Rocketeers. We both know who the protection racket guys were working for, the detective muttered. Tatsuel didn't have to glance at his notes. The Shark King, but it's hard to get a conviction with that guy. It says in the file that the attempted racketeers were Pirate Gear, Pirate Glam, and Pirate Fin. Right. Shark King, Captain Tatsuel shook his head. Seems like everything we know of that miscreant simply won't stick. The captain shook his head. He'll slip up eventually. Every criminal mastermind does. The captain waved dismissively, trying to push the thought away. He gazed down at the pictures of the three attempted mafiosos. Tatsueld had a smirk perched on the very side of his mouth. Tell me about those morons. The undercover man explained. So Pirate Guir, Pirate Glam, and Pirate Finn are Burgoyne. How do you pronounce that again? I kept on seeing that word. I would read it in my head, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Burgeoning, burgeoning pronunciation, burgeoning, burgeoning. Okay, cool. So, burgeoning, burgeoning. The undercover man explains. The Pirate Gear, Pirate Glam, and Pirate Finn burgeoning right. Are burgeoning right. They'd receive orders from Shark King to expand the business, and in the process, they themselves may get a bigger cut of the profit, or a larger territory, or what have you. The three idiots grow more confident and start trying to move and sell drugs through the garage. The asinine crooks even keep a second ledger. Can you believe that? As, as, Asinine? Asinin? Asinine. Asinine. The asinine crooks even keep a second ledger. Can you believe that? Tatsueld said, I believe that those fools would do about anything to stay in favor with Wolf. The incognito cop continued. From there, things seemed to escalate quickly. Charlie A came to us, to the police. He explained the situation, that it was growing more dire and that it was also growing much more expensive. Applenuts couldn't afford it anymore. It was down to the wire. Ape nuts. Is it ape nuts? Applenuts. Either shut down the automotive place for good or only stay open as a front for gangster activity. Classic rock and a hard place scenario, Tatsuel remarked. The undercover man tilted his head. Perhaps after being assigned to the case, I developed a fairly simple plan, but an effective one. Chapter 3, Deductive Reasoning. Detective reasoning, criminal behavior science, evidence aggregation, all of these things have changed rapidly over the last decade or so. Used to be a conviction came based on the trial and the opinions of the jury based on the evidence. These days it seems that the evidence holds the highest prominence in the court, the undercover cop said. Captain Tatsuheld nodded. DNA and fingerprint evidence are all but irrefutable. The undercover cop said, technology is paving the way for our convictions. I figured I'd use technology to help in this case. In what way? Charlie A and his father hadn't upgraded their establishment in a while, so I had officers set up closed circuit television on the property with motion activation. Next, there were parabolic microphone recorders placed strategically throughout the garage and the lobby areas. Tatsueld interrupted. You're telling me, he was almost laughing, that those three imbeciles never even considered the fact that they were possibly being watched, recorded, and not just for quality assurance purposes, the disguised policeman answered. That's the Eld laugh. The incognito cop continued, You breeze pride, that's all it really is. With technology advances, our detective reasoning capabilities advance abreast. This is a lesser example too. All we had here was some basic surveillance equipment, but the Rocketeers didn't see us coming. Tatsueld stated the gangsters didn't think some grease monkey who fixed cars would have any kind of plan. Oh, no, it's not a question. The gangsters didn't think some grease monkey who fixed cars would have any kind of plan. The undercover cop pointed at that sound. Exactly. It's not just the advances in hard technology and cybercrime. Detective reasoning these days includes the psychology of the perpetrator and behavior prediction of repeat offenders. In the last decade, we've really expanded our knowledge of how the criminal mind works in our efforts to advance detective reasoning in criminal science. Tatsueld held up a hand. You're not due for a raise for 6 months. Stop angling. You sound like you're at a job interview. Now just tell me what happened next. Tell me what's not in this report. Chapter 4 The Sting. We set up a sting. Basically, we had Charlie A call and request a pickup. Tatsueld looked down at his notes. Pickup here meaning that Pirate Pirate Finn, Pirate Glam Raymond, and Pirate Finn Bully would stop by the garage and gather their protection fees. Correct. The undercover cop continued. It was all fairly straightforward. Charlie A wore a microphone on the night in question. The Rocketeers were supposed to be bringing drugs to store there as well. Charlie A obviously had a problem with that. Hours passed finally, and I'm not sure how it happened, but only Finn showed. And And he didn't have the drugs. That's how I'd finished. No, no dope. So no conviction on that. And no conviction for the others either. However, it wasn't all bad news. That's what I'd offered. I'm seeing here that you did get pirate gear, Finn, on camera and on microphone. Absolutely evidence of racketeering and conspiracy to distribute illicit substances. Yeah, when it all came down to brass tacks, Charlie A said the trigger word, which was Azalea, said the trigger word, which was Azalea. Next thing Finn sees is a dozen cops swarming him. It was utterly hilarious, the look on his face. After all, Pirate Weir's talk about how much money he was making, and how he ran this town, and how the Shark King was old news, and how Pirate Weir fancied himself the next mob boss. He finally turned to talk of drugs. Pirate Weir offered Charlie a slightly reduced protection fee. He have agreed to store several pounds of methamphet- methamphetamine. Methamphetamine. All of this, Tatsueld interjected, can be admissible as direct evidence in court, correct? This is tantamount to several confessions on the part of Finn. So, as you can clearly see, the undercover cop continued, our detective reasoning capabilities have grown to include strategies for self incrimination of suspects. Nice. Did Finn resist on attempts escape in any way? Negative. Suspect did appear rather angry that his friends and his boss were absent, however. Do you think he'll turn, flip on Wolf? The undercover cop considered for a moment, possibly for a plea bargain or a more lenient sentence, but I seriously doubt it. Chapter 5 Small Battle. Captain Tatsuel summarized briefly, although the Shark King got away from any indictments, one of his hooligans was placed under arrest. Pirate Gear Finn due to closed circuit camera evidence. This evidence showed Finn promulgating and committing conspiracy for racketeering. The remaining two, Pirate Glam Raymond and Pirate Finn Bully, are under intense scrutiny from the local police. The undercover cop smiled through the scruffy fake beards. Raymond and Bully can hardly breathe from the pressure, I'm sure. Everywhere they turn, there's a cop staring at them. I'm sure that Wolf is feeling a bit pressure as well. The undercover cop nodded. Nothing wrong with that, Tatsuheld said. The unknown cop continued. We won the small battle here, but as our technology improves further, we will more easily be able to deter the Shark King and his thugs from this type of activity in the future. That's the point. Captain Tatsuel summarized the garage wasn't threatened anymore, and Charlie Appenuts and his cops were released from their bullies. We have to remember that the victims are important here too. Tatsuel gazed out the window of his office behind the undercover cop at the busy police station. Before you leave, you want to get rid of that ridiculous get-up? The undercover cop pulled off his fake beard and gigantic sunglasses and ridiculous baseball cap. Evil stared at Captain Tatsuel for a moment. Now, isn't that better? Evil leered at Tatsuel, then angrily turned to leave. Not really. Tatsuel grinned at his undercover pirate princess left. Keep up the great work. Evil gritted her teeth and slammed the door behind her. On her way out the station, she ignored the chiding comments from the other police officers. She had much to do. Ooh, okay, cool. So we got this. We got the captain, Tatsuel. Reminds me of hmm, 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 hmm. Hot damn! I can't do Captain Holt's voice, so. But yeah, oh, cool. So that's 16 minutes. Mm-hmm. Hmm. So that's it. I didn't record it first, aside from the opening credits. I haven't recorded anything yet. And we've got two characters, Captain Tatsweld and Evil, well, the undercover cop. So whew, I think I know what to do the voice for Evil. I could just like do the ones that I was doing earlier. They do me a favor. Start the beginning. You say that Charlie I Apetus automotive garage was under surveillance, so I could do that. The undercover cop replied it was due to potential activity from the Shark King and his assorted minions. I could do that voice. I don't know what to do with a captain because basically my other um voices are more do me a favor. Captain Tatsuheld closed the thick manila envelope before him. He instead looked up at his guest. Obviously, I can't do that because he's a captain. Tatsuheld, I think he's a guy as well. Oh, so Captain Tatsuheld. I could have, or I do have the do me a favor, Captain. I got a kid's voice. Captain Tatsu held closed the thick manila envelope before him. He instead looked up at his guest and spoke. Start at the beginning. You say that Charlie Appenut's automotive garage was under surveillance. Anyway, this is me. See you next time, guys. Bye.